everyone. We are so excited to be doing this with y'all this evening. My name is Amali, and I'm the events director at Books Are Magic, which, if you don't know, is a lovely little indie bookstore just down the block from here. So we are so excited to have Samantha Irby and, in a couple minutes, Jazmine Hughes with us tonight to celebrate the launch of Samantha's newest essay collection, Quietly Hostile. Before we get into all of that, I just have a few quick housekeeping notes to get out of the way. First off, of course, I want to thank St. Anne's for allowing us to use their beautiful space tonight for this event. If you need to use a restroom at any point, they are through the doors on my right, here in the far corner of the next room. Masks are optional for tonight's event, but if you'd like, we've got some extras up at the table where you checked in. At the end of tonight's discussion, we'll be doing an audience Q&A via a line in the center aisle. We'll let you know when it's time to start lining up for that. And lastly, I know many of you picked up a book when you purchased your tickets, but in case you didn't, we have additional copies of Quietly Hostile available for purchase tonight at the table where you checked in. All of the books have been pre-signed by Sam, but if you'd like your book personalized with a specific name, she will be signing books after the conversation. We'll also let you know where and when to start lining up for that. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, I tried to be funny while writing this introduction, so bear with me. A quick warning, do not read this book on the train unless you're okay with cackling and guffawing while surrounded by judgy New Yorkers trying to get to work on time. But maybe, while reading all the places Samantha has peed her pants in public, you might learn to be okay with snorting and crying in public too. But truly, in all seriousness, Quietly Hostile is more than just a collection of essays. It feels like a diary, a FaceTime call, a Type 5, and truly a wonderful reflection on the joys, traumas, and unprecedented occurrences of the past few years. Samantha Irby is a humorist and essayist and the author of 3 previous essay collections. As I mentioned earlier, Jazmine Hughes will be joining Sam in conversation tonight. Jazmine is a writer and editor currently working as a story editor at the New York Times Magazine. Okay, that's all from me. Everyone, please join me in giving Samantha Irby a very, very warm.
Yeah, this is working. Well, what should we talk about while we wait for Jazmine? If someone has a book, I will read it for you. I'm gonna get sweat all over your book. I'm so sorry. It's hot as hell here. Oh, whoa, whoa. Any requests? Here, I'm gonna read this thing. I'm gonna start reading about how we got a pandemic dog and he sucks. It's called My Firstborn Dog. I was talking to a man, first mistake, reminiscing about old shit. That's a trap, never do it. And he said to me, with the kind of brazenness only handsome people can get away with, level with me, baby. Don't you wish we'd gotten serious back in the day and had a kid? I damn near choked on my own tongue. Excuse me, sir? What are you asking me? Do I wish that instead of talking about weed strains, you and I were instead arguing about summer camp fees and community college applications? What is it about being comfortably ensconced in middle age, deep in the cozy confines of his sweatpants in the middle of a Tuesday years, that makes a man who should be on an aspirin regimen say something like that to a woman who is no longer shedding eggs or endometrial lining? Is it boredom, regret, Dementia? I stared slack-jawed at my phone, wishing it was 1998 and I had a receiver I could slam into its cradle. Don't you wish you had a kid? Do I wish I could stand idly by and witness all the things I hate about myself, manifested in and mirrored back to me by a person it's against the law for me to kill? I absolutely do not. Imagine, if you will, my child. Fat, which is great, who cares, it's in his DNA and can't be helped. But also, I would serve themed dinners like bread night or every pizza from the store. And that's fine by me, but you know some fucking hater who hates fun would hear about it and report me to child services. Sick. I mean, I'm sick, so I probably could only produce a sickly child. I'm not an epidemiologist, I know you were wondering. But that just feels true. I don't think any of my various conditions is even hereditary, but I know in my weakened bones that any offspring I produce would be riddled with maladies. I don't mind, but I am 2+ years overdue for a mammogram and a full checkup right now. When I wrote this and currently. I hate that squeezing machine. Okay. And if you are that lax with a child, I'm pretty sure, once again, you go to jail. Can't read. We'd be a TV house because I love TV. And also, have you ever tried to talk to a child? I've never met a little kid with good jokes or opinions. And reading to them is like cat, rat, bat, shat, and that's a big snooze. So we would just watch shows all day, and the kid would grow up with no clue what the alphabet even is. So yeah, like I said, jail. Undisciplined. Though I am an ardent rule follower, I possess zero personal discipline and have no idea how to instill that virtuous quality into another human being. Cut to future me and baby me, cut to future me and future baby eating chips and not doing laundry every day. Bad teeth. I got my shitty teeth from my mother, and my kid would get them from me. And I wouldn't have enough money for proper orthodontia because there's never enough money for all the shit a kid needs. And then there'd be 2 of us sitting around with buck teeth and discount crowns, and every time that little yuck mouth wailed in my face about a toy, the sight of his rotting gums would make me sad. Quietly hostile is how I would describe my public personality. I am mild-mannered and super polite because I'm from the Midwest, but just beneath the surface of my skin, my blood is electrified, and I am one inconsiderate driver away from a full, falling-down style emotional collapse. I don't know how to teach a child not to seethe, and instead to develop a healthy coping and communication style, but I do not know how to do that, because I do not know how to do that for myself. Are these all just words that describe me? 100% yes. And they describe my illiterate, toothless mother as well, which is how I know with absolute certainty that this is what any one of the millions of unfertilized eggs I've reabsorbed into my body would have evolved into had old enlarged prostate and I ever foolishly attempted to procreate back in the day. Okay, I see Jazmine's here, so that's all you get.
Okay.
You just press a little, yeah.
This button?
Yeah. Look at us.
Interesting how that works.
Women in STEM.
Women in STEM. Apologies for the delay. I was honoring my mother who always took me to church late every Sunday for my entire life. Happy belated Mother's Day to us all.
We've never met before, which is crazy.
No.
But I've been reading
You know
these
why?
in
It's
the
because I don't come to New York.
Listen, this is what it is.
It's not that bad, what you did here, right?
Oh, I hate it here.
I mean, I am upset that I'm late for so many reasons, mostly to do with embarrassment, but I assumed that as soon as you and I walked in, one of us was going to be hit by lightning in this church.
That is what I prepared, and I just cursed. So I have that, like, you know,
Let me
when,
move my
like,
chair away from you.
Well, you still have a chance to bring it heaven.
you know when you grow up in church and like even if you stop, it's still you have the like I'm in a church feeling. I had that when I walked in and I was like, am I allowed to cuss in front of the Lord in His home?
I feel like God, no disrespect, is a little busy. And maybe not tuning into this conversation, but who knows? Maybe he, she, or they will pop it at the end of the question.
If you're listening.
If you're listening. Okay, to begin, congratulations on your 4th book. Let's just go back to the beginning. So I found you from your blog. Remember those?
I do.
Ugh, you just gotta eat.
Yes.
Tell us how that came to be.
Well, this humiliating story that I've told many times. There was this dude. It's always a dude, right? That's why I have a wife now. There's this dude who I met on MySpace. Please, everyone young in here is like, what?
What's that?
It was like Facebook before, you know, bots. And he told me that he was into writers. And so I was like, I'm a writer. Now, I was not a writer at that time. Like, I'd written in school and stuff, but I was like, oh, how do I prove to this dude that I'm a writer without, like, trying to write a novel? And I started a blog on my MySpace. And I sent it to him and was like, do you want to have sex? And then he did. I probably didn't even have to write that stupid blog. Like, men will have sex with a dog. So I went to
We're in a church, Sam. Let's talk about this.
He knows. He made
Now
that.
that you start listening. Anyway, so it worked. You're the first person who's ever been successfully played because of their blog. Go on.
Yeah, and so it was whack, you know, like as things tend to be. And when we stopped seeing each other, I was like, well, there goes the blog. And my friend Laura was like, I'm tired of listening to you complain all the time. Could you just keep doing your blog and put it there? And I was like, okay. So then somebody had to teach me how to use Blogger. And then I started Bitches Gotta Eat.
And how much time elapsed between you starting the blog and Meaty coming out?
I started the blog in 2008. And Meaty, so the first iteration of Meaty with the chicken on it, if anyone remembers that.
Real heads now.
Yeah, somebody back there knows. Came out, well, I used to do a lot of storytelling in Chicago, and these two hipster dirtbags were at every show, and every time they would be like, you know, we have a small press, we have an indie press, you should do a book. And I was like, no. And then for 2 years, they sort of hounded me. And I was like, it sounds hard, I don't want to do a book. And they were basically like, write what you write in your blog and we'll put it in a book. And I'm like, oh, a printed out blog that I can do. And they were like, well, we'll let you write whatever you want. And if you have the old version, I did write whatever I wanted.
And what do you mean? So what's the difference between the old version and the initial version? Is there another one?
Yes,
It was reissued?
yes.
Wait, I didn't remember this.
Well, so I didn't have an editor at first, but now I have one. She's in the front row. She remembers that raw material. I didn't have an editor. I didn't have anything. No, she's over there to the left. I'm embarrassed.
Do you want to
of
come
her.
up here and share your testimony?
You want to share how horrified you are when I turn things in and you have to sift through the garbage to find what's good. I wrote, oh my God. Okay, in the first version, I took a couple of things out. One was this essay that I'd written about my dad punching me in the face. And I was like, the rest of this book is about like poop and sex, and I'll take out the dad thing. And then I wrote this essay that I should probably find again. That was like, I'm not mad at Lena Dunham. Because everybody was so mad that there are no black people on Girls, but imagine a black person on Girls, right? Like, it wouldn't be right. And like, black people can watch white shows, like, let them be white. And so, and at the end of the essay, I talk about how I used to watch One Tree Hill, and there was one black dude on the show, and as blacks, you have to like, I knew that would get you.
Not everybody can laugh at that. I get it.
You have, like, I'm like, where does he get his haircut? Who does he talk to? Do they call the police on him? Where's his mama? You know, you have to like worry about what's happening with the black character. It's much less stressful. Like if I watch Succession, I don't have to worry about like Leon getting fired or whatever. You know what I mean? I can just watch and enjoy. So I took that out because I didn't want to be, I was gonna say controversial, but I mean.
You still. Does that know about the P story yet?
No, they just got the book today.
Okay, when you all get to page like 75 or 90, somewhere in there, we're all gonna meet back here next week and discuss. Because it is.
It's horrifying.
But let's go back to me. And that these two dirtbag hipster dudes in Chicago, which most people call the Blues Brothers, came to you and were like, we want you to write a book.
Yeah.
Was there any conversation, or did you have any conversation in your head about maintaining your voice? About like not gussying it up and trying to formalize yourself because it was going to be pretty matter?
No, and I will say it's because I don't really know how to write fancy, right? Like I only went to school. I mean, I did a little like community college, whatever, but like I don't have any formal writing training, and so really there's no other to write in but like, you know, whatever 12th grade Evanston Township High School English class taught me, and they were just like, write whatever. So I truly was just like, I'm gonna write whatever. I didn't like think about the collection as a whole, you know, like now we think about, is there a range of things? Like, you know, where are we pulling from? Last book, Maria was like, there's not enough sex, so I put some sex in this one. There was no thought going into the original meaty. I just wrote until I reached the word count, and then I sent it to them, and they made it into a book. They didn't even edit it. They
were a needed genius, and you're like, how do you do the thing? She's like, I don't know, I just sat down and wrote it.
No, I mean, you know, it was just like a diary that other people could read.
I mean, and that's what's so incredible that you've written 4 of these, because now I'm curious about what the editing process is like. How do you edit your own diary?
Well, I don't do, okay, so I write at like 2 in the morning, and I'm like, write, usually late, always late. I can't lie with her here, always late. And then I send it to Maria. We don't talk about it, we don't do anything. She does her thing, I continue writing because I'm usually late and behind. And then at the end, when I'm like, okay, I've turned in 90,000 words, you fix them, you tell me what's going on. And then however long it takes her, and then she sends it back and she's like, well, we should do this. One thing was too long. She was like, we gotta cut 5,000 words out of this. But I can't edit myself because I will never stop fiddling. I will just keep going. So I have to be like, here. And then when she hands it back to me, I never argue with the edits. I'm like, all right, whatever. I mean, I barely read it. I'm like, okay, whatever. Accept all changes. I do not be reading that shit. I do not send notes back that are like, oh, I you misunderstood. Nope. I'm like, whatever. Click. And then she's always like, you missed several questions we had, and then I have to fake like I didn't see them while I was meticulously going through.
Are you sure you don't want to come up here and share your testimony? Are you okay?
I make her life so hard. I'm sorry, Maria. This is really my apology to her for being the worst. No, it is true. I just, you know when you get to the end of it, it's like a marathon, and then you get to the end, and it's like, I'm done with this. So whatever she changed, fine. Whatever she hated, it comes out. Like I don't get precious about it. I'm just like, whatever. I'm tired of this. Where is the money? Can you send my agent a check today? What do I have to click to speed up that process?
The Amazon packages are on the way. Okay, so you mentioned a little bit about your writing process. You write at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Where do you write in a special place in your house? Is it hard for you to write in like in a hotel or if you're on the road or something? And it's a two-parter.
Okay.
Do you, when something disgusting is happening to you, are you like, this is gonna make a great story?
Yes. Okay, I'll start there. So in this book, there's a story about how I went into anaphylactic shock, which is very serious, but I'm so stupid that like I couldn't like stop laughing the whole time at like how dumb everything was, and like and so while it was happening, if I live, this is gonna be a great story. You know, I got in line, like Kirsten dropped me at the emergency room and I got in line instead of being like, hey, I'm dying. I stood behind like some crackhead who was like wilding out. And like when I finally got to the window, she was like, and so I was masked and she was like, pull your mask down, and like the bottom of my face looked like Joe Camel, right? And I couldn't breathe. And she was like, why are you in line? And then they sent a wheelchair, and I couldn't stop joking. And they were like gonna intubate me, and I was like trying to crack jokes while my face was swollen and blowing up. So I knew that that would be a good story to tell other people. Yeah, if something disgusting or notable is happening, something weird, I start taking mental notes.
Do you keep a diary or is it just mental notes?
It's just mental notes. Sometimes I text myself, but then I set my text to delete every 30 days, so, because it stresses me out.
You don't want a paper trail, no incrimination.
So then I lose a lot of those notes because I don't write them down. Everybody's like, oh, what a dumbass. But, you know, it's it.
Whatever works.
And I don't write in hotels because I don't like to travel with a laptop. It's too much. It's too much.
You know, laptops these days, they have the Airs now, and they're quite light.
I have a thing that costs too much. So I have like a fancy Mac thing, but dragging it around, it cramps my style. So I write at home. In our old house, I had a desk in the corner of the living room, which is why I started writing at 2 a.m. because my back was to the room and I didn't like everybody like being behind me. So I would wait till everyone went to sleep, and then like a vampire, like half this book was written in the middle of the night, you'll see. But now I have an office. We moved and I have an office. But I don't really work in there either. I take my laptop to the dining room table. It just, you know, it's a mess up here.
So I'm gonna ask you a question that I feel like I ask a lot of writers, which is who do you read? But I feel like for Sam, it's actually an interesting question because for all I'm including like Instagram comments, like comments on YouTube videos that are like, ugh, I was born in the wrong generation. Like subway ads, just like where are the things where you find yourself reading something you find it delightful?
Well, so in terms of books, I only read novels and a lot of horror. I like horror novels. Because if I read someone who does the same thing I do, I just can't help but compare and contrast, and then I'm like, what they do is better than what I do, so I don't do that. Like if you have an essay collection, I'm so sorry, I'm sure it's great, I'll never read it because I am too fragile. But then so I follow a lot of meme pages. All I do is laugh at memes all day, it's terrible. I love to read comments on the Shade Room.
Oh my God.
The best. This morning I spent like 2 hours just giggling at Shade Room comments.
What were they saying? What was the post?
About Bad Bunny and Kendall Jenner dating. People are mad. And I'm like, who cares? It's not like you were gonna bang Bad Bunny.
I'm people. I don't know if I had a chance.
Oh, you don't. Me neither. We'll live. He is really cute, but people were hot about it. I also spend too much time on the NBA subreddit. I'm a big basketball person, football person. I watch a lot of like sports analysis. Well, we get into it or not. But r/NBA. I spend a lot of time. See, that to me feels like, people are like, oh, how could you like write about your butthole? Like that is no problem to reveal to people, but being like, I spent 3 hours on the NBA subreddit. Like that's hard
I
to
didn't
say.
hear that, right? Like there's no follow-up question to that. Okay.
Yeah, we'll just like, yeah. Done.
So you read novels, you read Instagram comments.
Mm-hmm.
What's your TikTok situation?
Well, as a 43-year-old person, I have downloaded the app so that when someone sends me a TikTok, I can open it, but usually I watch TikToks on Instagram like an old person.
That's what Instagram is for.
Yes!
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
If I see a TikTok, it's because some meme page posted it. See, now all my deep secrets are
Now we're getting deep. This is your Barbara Walters interview. So now let's talk about the tough stuff. A little show called And Just Like That is coming back next month.
Mm-hmm.
And how are you feeling? No, that's kind of a bullshit question. At one point in the book, you have a long essay where Sam goes through and like picks all of her favorite episodes of Sex and the City throughout the years and says what should have happened. And there's one that I want to read to you all, if I can find it, because I was like, oh, I understand why she made it into this writer's room. Like, this is Sam Irby at work. So, episode 10, I think, of season 4. There are 4 episodes that Sam goes through and she she starts with what happens on the episode and then gives it her own ending. Of course, now I've lost it. Episode 10, the episode called Belle of the Balls. She writes, Aiden should have killed Big.
He should have. Remember when they had that fight? He should have beat him to death.
I think, what if we just... Okay, so between me, you, and all of us,
Our
real quick
family.
in this church, let's tease that out a little bit. In your deepest heart of hearts, how do you think Aiden should have done it?
Well, they were fighting at his farmhouse.
Slipping in the mud and all that.
Yeah, I would take an axe and like chop his head off. Or like beat him with the non-sharp end of an axe. I don't know, what else do you have at a farm? Run him over with a tractor?
That sounds good. They should have killed him.
It was terrible.
Wait, did you kill Bill?
No, but let me tell you. So when I had my interview, first of all, I love Michael Patrick King. He's
And he
incredible.
called you up and asked you to audition for the writer's room. Is that right? He read your book?
Yeah, he read the book and was like, I want you in this room. And I was like, shut up. So at my interview, I was wearing this hideous striped shirt, which I threw out. And the first thing he said was, what the fuck is that shirt? And I knew that we were meant to be right away. And so he was telling me about the new show and whatever. And he's like, so what do you think? And I was like, who wants to see like carrying big stuff? They're boring, they're married. Like, should Big die? And he was like, it's already in the works. And then I was like, then I accept this job. Hire me, I'm hired, thank you. I can't wait.
How has your relationship to writing, the actual drafting, writing down sentences, changed now that you're in a writer's room with people, as opposed to at your desk at 2 a.m.?
So TV is so collaborative, and I appreciate that because I, like, you know, if I get notes on this book stuff, I know what to do, right? And it makes sense to me. If getting notes on TV is so weird, you have to kind of like know what executives want, and I don't. So I appreciate having people who are like, no, we can't do that. Or yet, the one amazing thing there are lots of good things about this show, but it's the biggest budget thing I've ever worked on.
Listen, Rich, I'm gonna ask you about the food, the meals that you've ordered out next. What's the most expensive thing you've expensed? But go on.
So, I worked on this show called Work in Progress that's on Showtime. It's an incredible show. Showtime gave us no money to make it. Like, it's filmed in the star's apartment. And so the difference on it, so like we'd come up with ideas, and Lily Wachowski was the showrunner, and she'd be like, no, we can't afford that. No, we can't afford that. Figure out how we can do that scene in someone's house, you know? And it was like, oh, okay, we are making a really small show. And on it just like that, I could be like, can we put Carrie on the moon? And they'll be like, we'll consider it, you know? And it's incredible. You just do whatever. And HBO's like, psh, there you go. Because it's a Zoom room, I did not order any fancy lunches. But I will say that Saturday night, today is Monday, Saturday night, Michael took me out to dinner at John George.
Oh. And you said you hate New York? Come on.
Oh, I do. But you know what? It's too busy. How does anyone, like, when there are 700 restaurants on a block, how do you know which one you're gonna go to? I can't have that stress. You know, like, how do you know which dry cleaner when there are 37 dry cleaners? How does anyone decide anything here?
And I can tell that you don't really live here because the real issue plaguing New Yorkers is rats all the time. That's all they complain about. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But it's fine.
I mean, the rats too, the garbage in the street, come on.
The mayor, anyway.
See? Yeah, I should have said the mayor. The mayor is
Do you have aspirations to do a TV show of your own?
Well, I tried twice. I just, like 2 weeks ago, I had a show in development at Sony, and they...
Show based on you, your life, your book?
No, a completely non-me show about, I mean, you guys, if I had gotten to make it, it's about a woman who finds a severed head, and it's alive, and can talk to her, and she carries it around, and he's like Cyrano de Bergerac, like telling her what to do. Fucking brilliant.
Who plays the head?
Well, we were gonna have it be like an old, like, grizzled white guy, you know, like a Nick Offerman type, and like the lead is a black woman. It was gonna be like the new, you know, Odd Couple. But after 2 years in development, Sony was like, we're getting out of half-hour comedy. So they rejected my show. So maybe I'll try to sell that to someone else. But I spent 7 years trying to put Meaty, my first book, on television, and Hollywood is not ready for what I do. We were first at FX, and then we were at Comedy Central, and we did shoot a mini pilot, so we got that far, where we got to like actors playing me. It was so weird, but ultimately they decided they didn't want it either. So I'm never making a show about myself again, because after And Just Like That, like Backlash,
Classes you got?
yeah.
Will you tell us a little bit about the sort of crazy things you got on the internet?
Oh, yeah, someone tagged me on Instagram and called me a murderer because Big died, and I was like, bitch, he's fake. He's not a real person. And I didn't decide that. Like, my father, HBO Max, decided that. It wasn't me. Like, I am last on the call sheet. I make no decisions. But like the tweets and the vulture pieces and all that, I cannot have that happen to my real self. You know, I cannot put poor me up for that kind of, you know, because like nobody reads, but everybody watches TV. So in the books, like people don't know what I'm saying, right? Like y'all know, but not many people. TV, everyone's paying attention to TV, and I do not want to be skewered, but I am going to try to sell that severed head show. Cross your fingers.
You guys know anybody. All right, I'm going to ask one more
If you
question.
know any network executives who want to make the weirdest show in history, hit me up.
I don't know, this is New York, baby, anything can happen. So we have one more, I'm going to ask one more question, and if you all have questions, you can come to this microphone and ask them. That would be great. Sam.
Yes, Jazmine.
When did you know that you made it? Like, what sort of like thing that has happened to your life, maybe during the Just Like That era or after Meaty or whatever, where you're like, this is a ridiculous thing that I couldn't have imagined 20 years ago?
Well, okay, so I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop, so I don't know if I'll ever like feel like I made it, you know.
We know, we read the books. It's
Yeah, okay. I had to walk the red carpet at the And Just Like That premiere. Let me tell you, I didn't know that we were gonna walk the carpet, so I wore Adidas track pants and a hoodie. And they were like, get in front of the camera, and I was like, no. So like, here's Sarah Jessica Parker, who's like, you know, a fairy, right? She's like tiny and sparkly, and then I'm like fucking the swamp monster like next to her, being like, hi. So that was maybe like the fanciest, like the biggest thing. Like going to a premiere, but it is always crazy to like see your name on TV or see your name in stuff, and that has been fun and weird, but fun. But weird. It's weird.
Damn girl, that's where you'd be selling all those books. You really got a voice.
Yeah, the whole book is like dumb, weird, sorry.
Tears. Okay, so do we have any questions for Sam over here? Shirley, come up to the front, please.
Don't leave.
Everybody give it up for Shirley. Thank you for being the first one. Go for it, girl.
That was great. You're
Thank you.
awesome. So I'm just trying to get myself together because I'm fangirling just a little
Oh,
bit.
don't! If you knew
I'm
how
so
like
sorry.
sweaty my butt was, you would not be nervous at all.
Great, mine is too. I'm wondering, like, maybe besides Maria telling you that you have to write things, what prompts you to do the next book? And do you have a notion of like when you will stop writing if you feel like it? And okay, I want to sneak
Sure,
in
this is
one.
my-
No,
I'm so
that's,
sorry.
please.
I'm so sorry.
It's your floor. Everybody else is seated.
And which one pays better, the books or the TV?
Books. For me, books, 100%. And maybe it's because I'm still like kind of at the low end of the TV. Well, this season on And Just Like That, I think I hit like supervising producer,
Okay.
which is just a fancy way of saying you've been writing for a little bit longer than someone who never wrote. And because I don't work in TV consistently, but even then, pay is no good. I mean, you know, we're on strike. Pay is not, it's fine, but it's not like life sustainable. And the books have been very good to me. Okay, I'm gonna go backwards. The second question was,
Will you ever stop writing books?
will I ever stop? Yes.
Please
If
don't.
they stop selling, no, like that's a huge fear of mine. Like I do not want to be out past my expiration date. You know what I mean? Like I don't want it to get sad. Like, oh, Sam's 55 and trying to sell us a book about adult diapers. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to do. If people don't want to hear from me anymore, then I'm out. Right? I will do something else or die. I mean, whatever. But I will not do this longer than I should. And then what? Did you say what prompts me to write something?
Like the next one, like.
Oh, the next one, money. Money. Although you will be happy to know that this book is the first in a 3-book deal. So there's at least 2 more. I can tell you the next one we decided for everyone who read Bitches Gotta Eat, I unpublished it from the internet so that I could steal from myself. And we are gonna put it in a book and I'm gonna have like a conversation with my old self. I'm gonna put the blogs and then what I think about it now as a 43-year-old person. It'll be okay. No, I'm just kidding. It will be very funny. It will be humiliating for me to read that old stuff, but yeah. No, I don't feel, I mean, I still am sort of mystified that people buy things from me. I mean, that's why like my books are paperback, because I'm like, I don't write $30 books, you made 15. You know what I mean? It's true. So I don't feel, I'm not one of those people who is like, I have things to say and you need to hear it. I'm like, oh, people bought that? Would they buy another one of those? Oh, you think they might? Okay, I'll do it. But the minute they're like, no, you didn't do so great last time, we're done, I'll be like, thank you so much, and you'll never hear from me again. I will disappear into the ether. And by ether, I mean like the Midwest. You'll never see me again. So, you better keep, no, I'm just kidding. I am just kidding. But like, no, for real, the minute, because like, you know, I'm always worried about being humiliated and like not knowing that I'm doing something humiliating. So if I'm out here trying to sell books to people who don't want them, I can't do that. So the minute people are like, no, bitch, then I'll be done. Mm-hmm. And then other people can make room for someone else who does what I do but better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, I have an ego, of course, but it's not the kind of thing that would have me like looking dumb by hanging on for too long. So, is that an unsatisfying answer? Well, it's the truth, but yeah, I'll know when it's time to be done. We done.
Satisfied.
When you started doing it, but I really love whenever you, on Instagram stories, you'll post a song that you're listening to on repeat.
I haven't done that in a minute.
I know, and it has me like cackle at those.
I'll do one tonight for you. I'll do one tonight for you. Thank you.
But I'm wondering, what is your song on repeat right now?
Oh my God, what am I listening to on? Okay, I'm gonna try to think of something contemporary because usually it's like something I listened to in high school.
Which I love.
No, that's
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Liz Fair, Explain It to Me. I have been on repeat that song. It like does something to me. I will do Liz Fair tonight for you. I'll get some good horrifying memes to put between them so you'll know that it's extra special for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you! Oh my goodness. I love your shirt. It says bitch, bitch, bitch. Dude, I'm so easy. I do. I love
Shout
it.
out Pace student selling at Washington Square Park. I'm Eleanor, and I wanted to ask about how you deal with. I know you talked about this a little bit when we were speaking about TV, like people knowing all these intimate details about your life and criticism on the internet. How do you deal with knowing the people you've written about can read your stuff?
Oh, I don't give a fuck. Let me tell you. So when we did, the Yellow Book, which was like the first like big publisher book, at the end they were like, and I didn't know this, they were like, a lawyer has to read it. And I was like, what? Like it hadn't occurred to me, right? And they were like, yeah, a lawyer reads it and he'll like talk to you afterward. And I was like, oh, they're not gonna let me say all of this, right? Like they're not. So I have my meeting with the lawyer. He's very nice and he loves jokes, so that's good. And he's not like a serious lawyer. I mean, he is, but he's, okay. So there was nothing he flagged. Well, there was, in the Yellow Book, I wrote a thing about my old boyfriend, Fred, and Fred was his real name, but I got his permission. I sent it to him and I got his permission. But the one thing the lawyer said during that talk that really has stuck with me is that all of your stories belong to you, right? If you are a part of it, it belongs to you. You don't get to out anyone. You don't get to like disclose, I think he was like an illness or something like that about anyone. It's always good to change a name. But other than that, your stories belong to you. So, if it's someone who has behaved poorly, here's the thing. All the people I write negatively about, like my ex-boyfriends, they can't read. So, I have and like, was their mom gonna find it? No, she's not gonna read that. So, I don't worry about them. And like my friends and stuff, I'll be like, okay, this happened, I'm gonna write about it. Is it cool? And they always say yes. So I don't care, especially because like, if there's a good story and like what holds me back is like what someone would say about it, that's like prison. So I don't even think about it. I'm like, this is good, I know how to make it funny, I'm gonna write it. And then if people get mad, I wouldn't know because they're usually people I don't talk to anymore. So fuck them. But yeah, I don't think about it. The number one person who complains about her portrayal is my wife. But like, she's stuck with me, so whatever, shouldn't be mad.
That's why I'm scared. I mostly write about women and they're gonna read this and be like, that's what she was thinking? Like,
Now that is,
embarrassing.
That's great. I mean, no, you can like get your revenge.
True. I've done it before.
Yes. Doesn't that feel good? It feels even better when thousands of people buy it. So that is the feeling that I'm trying to get, you know? I'm like, oh, I need people to know how much I hate this person. And then when they do, it's like a Xanax for my soul. It's really great. It's really great. So, yes, be brave. Nobody's gonna kick your ass over something you've written. That's what I think. I always think, like, are they gonna kill me? No, then it's fine. Yeah, you're fine. Write whatever you want.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You write whatever you want, don't you?
The rules are slightly different if you write for a newspaper, so come and talk to me afterward. And just really quickly before we go to the next, obviously we could all talk to Sam all night, but if you are not online now, I do ask you to stay in your seat, but if you're in line, let's do it. Let's do it up.
Okay. Hi. Oh, your dress is so cute.
Thank you, it has pockets.
Oh. I love that.
I love being among my sisters. Please, go on.
I also keep pulling my dress down thinking that my butt is exposed, but
Girl, show it. Why not? I mean, come on. We're all family.
it's a little I feel like I'm assuming, but do you write things that about people shitty and hope that they'll also read and maybe dream about the confrontation that you might have if they come for you?
Wait, before you answer that, what's your sign?
Aquarius.
You can sit with me. We have a lot to talk about after.
I'm an Aquarius too. But I'm a Leo rising, which is where all this comes
Which
from.
is why we're here celebrating right now.
That's all I know about astrology, though. I'm one of those people who's like, I want to know everything about me. I don't care about anyone else's sign. I couldn't tell you what a Scorpio does. I don't know.
I will. Call me after class.
Okay. Do I want people that I've written about to read it?
Only the people that you like really hate. Like sometimes I'll write something and be like, wow, if this person read it one day, I hope they like come for me so I can do the confrontation I dream about in the shower.
Well, now,
Your whole
I love that energy a lot. I mean, I mailed a copy to one ex once. And I was like, you'll know which page. You'll know when you get there. After you read with your finger, you'll know. But generally, like, so it's like, this is so terrible to admit. So it's like, you know, a fantasy to be like, somebody's gonna read this person's gonna read this, and then I'm gonna get an apology. They're gonna come to me, I'm gonna get an apology, we're gonna fall in love, like whatever movie stuff. That has not happened. So I don't know that like subtweeting in a book has worked in the way that I hope, because nobody has been like, I recognize that I've wronged you. And I would like to make amends. That has not happened yet. But I'm gonna keep trying.
My real question was, how do you start like writing anything? Because I also am like a 3 a.m. writer, but I haven't written anything in like 2 years. So how do you like just start writing things? Is it like the money really kicks your ass, or?
Oh no, I mean that's like my joke answer. I need to have a deadline. That's number one. Or like I need to know that it's going somewhere. But this is my like process, and also like my greatest writing tip. If I know the subject matter, right, I have to know the end first. I always write to an ending. Doesn't matter how anything starts or what happens in the middle, I have to know the end, and I can start and write to an end. So if for example, there is a draft in my draft folder that has been sitting there since probably like 2015, called "Is It Ever Worth It to Be Friends with a Man?" The answer is no, but no, I'm just kidding. I love you, men. But I couldn't figure out how to end it, right? I didn't know how to land the plane, so I just didn't finish the essay because I didn't know where it was going. So if you have an ending, if you know how you want to bring it home, then just start writing whatever you want and make sure you get to that ending.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
Hi, thank you for doing this.
Of course, thank you for coming to this.
You could have paid me to come. I get that wrong. I'm all messed up.
I know what you meant.
Thank you for knowing what I meant. Do you ever have an unexplored topic or area of your life that you'd really like to write about and you haven't yet?
Well, okay, so this is new. I started therapy, but I'm all right. But then I also started seeing a psychiatrist who diagnosed me with OCD, which it's clearly like what I thought was like depression and anxiety is OCD. Like we really broke down all of the stuff I do and think, and I'm on 300 milligrams of Zoloft every day.
They go to 300. I'm only on 100. Give me your guy.
I have to take 3 of those. It's rough. But because, like I said, like needing to know an ending or where to bring it home, I'm not there yet with the OCD. Like I'm still in the middle of figuring it out, and I'm doing exposure therapy, which is horrifying, but like you have to do it. It's supposed to be the only thing that works. One day I do want to write about that. And so one of my exposure therapies is, because a lot of my fears are not things that like can happen. It's not like, oh, I'm afraid to go outside, right? It's like, I'm afraid that someone in the grocery store is gonna ram her cart into me and knock me over and scream at me. So I can't make that happen so that I get exposed. So my psychiatrist has me write incredibly detailed scenarios that scare me, and I have to read them over and over. I have to record them and listen to myself saying them until they like lose their power. I'm still in the middle, right? And so when I'm in a place where I can better understand how to, one, how to make it funny, and two, how to like talk about it to other people, I will write about that. And maybe I'll put some of my scary exposure stories in a book. And then like once the world knows the stuff that like keeps me up at night, maybe that'll be a different kind of exposure therapy. But yeah, I think like the mental health stuff, because I'm still in the middle of figuring it all out, I will eventually, maybe in the 3rd book in this deal, I'll get to a point where I can like write about it. So yeah, that's like my one unexplored thing. You know, I've described like the inside of my labia, you know everything, but that's the one thing. So eventually I'll get there.
Well, a lot of what you've written has been really courageous, and I think that would also be very courageous, and we would love to read it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Damn, people like you.
I've got them fooled.
I hate to cut this short, but unfortunately we've exceeded the time that we have.
Oh,
tonight.
I'm so
I'm so sorry. But good news is that Sam will be sticking around to personalize books.
Yeah,
so you still have a chance to say hello. Just a few reminders as to what I'd said earlier. All of the books have been pre-signed, but if you want to say hello, get it personalized to a specific name. Sam will be signing those books in the room that is through this door. Otherwise, we have plenty of additional copies available for purchase at the table where you checked in. Also, all of her previous collections, which are all equally as good and wonderful. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. Thank you, Jazmine.
I love
Okay, perfect.